welcome inside the ACU TV studio for this week's Optimist newscast. I'm Cindy Varner alongside Paige Taylor. Last week, Abilene experienced a wintertime emergency, causing most of the city to lose power and water. 15 inches of snowfall on Monday and freezing temperatures caused classes to be canceled all for the week, while students dealt with the widespread power outages and water shortages. While the outages took place across Abilene, the university responded by opening warming stations to students, faculty, and staff, and provided bottled water for those in need. They kept campus facilities open to provide warm spaces for students to charge their devices as well as get a hot meal.
Dillard, Barrett, and Smith Adams halls lost power, displacing students on campus. Freshman dorms Gardner, Sykes, Nelson, and Edwards opened their doors to students in need of a place to sleep. They placed students in extra rooms in the halls as well as set up beds in the lobby. Freshman Paige Harper stayed in Gardner during the week.
Experienced a power outage, and my parents have been texting me to make sure my phone's fully charged at all times. Luckily at Gardner though, we've had our power, we've had our heat, but across campus I know it's not that way, so I'm extremely thankful to be here, and I know people are working so hard to make it happen to where they have electricity and more.
Power came back on in waves throughout the weekend, and water was restored at the beginning of the week.
During the wintertime emergency last week, a home caught fire in a neighborhood near campus. Owen Simpson has more on this story.
The fire broke out around 11 p.m. on February 15th as smoke was visible on campus. Due to the winter storm dropping a record 15 inches of snow and sending temperatures below zero, power outages have been all too frequent in Abilene, leaving many residents cold in their homes. A space heater apparently started the fire, but all the individuals inside the home escaped unharmed. The Abilene Fire Department battled the blaze that also engulfed the pool house in the backyard, but struggled for almost 3 hours to extinguish the fire due to lack of water resources available in the city. When the snow melted and the sun rose, it was apparent that the house was a complete loss. The property is owned by a non-profit organization, New Beginnings, which is a transitional house for women coming out of jail and/or prison. It is currently unclear what the future plans are for the property. For the ACU Optimist, I'm Owen Simpson.
Stephen Hunt, a sophomore psychology major, has filed to run for city council against ACU alumnus Shane Price. Carrie Johnston has more on this story.
Tumultuous year for elections in 2020, the time has come for Abilene City Council elections. While ACU alumnus Shane Price is up for re-election, one ACU student is looking to start his political career here in Abilene.
I've had an interest in politics for quite a while now, and I figure that at this stage in my life, in order to progress, it's pretty much now or never.
Stephen Hunt, a sophomore psychology major originally from Evansville, Indiana, who now lives in Abilene after serving in the Air Force, has big plans in store for the city if he is elected.
One thing that I would definitely like to focus on is the creation of some sort of green space and interconnected trail system in Abilene. I mean, if you take a look at some of the other successful cities in Texas, their growth really depended on having those spaces as kind of an anchor point for the rest of the city to develop around.
By running for local office, Hunt wants to emphasize to people his age how important it is to be involved in local politics alongside national politics, since it has the most direct impact on people personally.
Fervor and passion around the presidential election, over the gubernatorial election, over elections for Senate. But overall, when it comes to impact that you're going to see, impact that's going to affect you, it's all local politics, and I'd love to see more people getting involved in their local government.
Hunt is looking forward to the remainder of his campaign and is excited about the chance to be able to learn from this experience, no matter if he wins or loses.
I'm really excited in campaigning. I think it's going to be a great time. It's going to be great listening to the concerns of Abilene residents. It's going to be great getting to know their stories. And even if I don't win, that's a wealth of knowledge that's going to be immensely helpful in the future.
For The Optimist, I'm Carrie Johnston, reporting.
The 2021 general election for City Council will take place on May 1st. All students who are registered to vote in Abilene will be eligible to vote in this election, with polling places located all across Abilene.
Up next, we'll take a look at both men and women's basketball matches against Sam Houston State this week. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to this week's Optimist Newscast. I'm Carrie Johnston alongside Bella Valentine. The men's basketball team looked to remain unbeaten at home on Wednesday night against Sam Houston State. Postseason implications were on the line, and the Wildcats delivered. Joe Pleasant had himself a career night with a career-high 24 points, with several key buckets down the stretch. But Pleasant wasn't the only player making an impact on the court. Sam Houston's Zach Nuttall delivered a clinic on the offense with 33 points, 20 of them in the second half, but it wasn't enough in the final minutes, as Arion Simmons and Pleasant delivered from beyond the arc to ultimately seal the victory in an 86-72 win. With Wednesday's matchup, ACU moved into first place in the Southland Conference standings with just 3 games left in the season.
This is a late February Southland Conference heavyweight fight, with 2 teams going at it. I don't know what the final score was, but that was a 1-possession game, and we happened to make some plays down the stretch, and that's what separates those type of games. You'll have a play or 2 late that the ball goes one way or another, or a guy makes a play, and we made them. We had a lot of adversity tonight. We had a lot of things going on, and our guys just continued to stick in there and fight.
Women's basketball dropped to 9th place in the conference play as they fell to the Bearcats 75-55. The Bearcats stormed ahead in the first quarter by going on a 10-0 run, and they outscored the Wildcats by 13 by the first quarter's end. The Wildcats played consistently throughout the rest of the game, but could never overcome that first quarter deficit. Turnovers were also a problem for the Wildcats on Wednesday. They had turned the ball over to a season-high 30 times, the 3rd most turnovers the Wildcats have had in a game while playing at the Division I level. Leading the way offensively was Wildcats junior guard Maddie Miller, who tallied her first double-digit performance since January with 19 points. After the game, Miller credited the loss to a slow start in the first quarter.
We just can't come out flat like that. We can't dig ourselves in a hole early, because I feel like we do a good job playing bucket to bucket when we have the energy and the intensity. We match energy and intensity well. But when we get down like that, it's hard to play bucket for bucket and close a gap and a lead. And so I think once we got hit in the mouth, we figured out how to play hard and try to stop actions that they were running. And but at the end of the day, we just didn't close the lead that they got early in the first quarter. So just came out short.
Behind Miller in scoring for ACU was freshman Taylor Morgan. She scored a career high on Wednesday night, finishing with 12 points while shooting 50% from the field. The Wildcats will have their chance to claw their way back to the Southland Conference playoff picture on the road at Central Arkansas on Saturday.
Sophomore Irene Rano took first place in the Southland Conference Cross Country Championships this week. Rano's first place finish allowed the Wildcats to take a second place overall, while the men placed 8th. Rano was named the Southland champion as well as the Southland Conference Cross Country Athlete of the Year. She is set to compete in the NCAA Cross Country Championship in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
3 women's soccer games were canceled in the last 2 weeks because of the inclement weather and COVID-19. They have been rescheduled for the beginning of March. Women's soccer will play Lamar on March 5th, McNeese on March 7th, and Texas A&M Corpus Christi on March 14th.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's Optimist Show. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.